Mr. Park?
Here.
Mr. Redmond?
Here.
Ms. Ryan? Present. Mayor Hall?
Here.
We're going to table.
We're gonna table the American Legion license here for a little while.
That brings us to the consent agenda.
Does anybody have anything on payment of bills or the minutes or resolution refund of overpayment they want to take off until separately? Seeing none, I'll offer it.
Mayor Hall, second. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. King? Yes. Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan? Yes. Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Resolution R 14-207, resolution rejecting bid.
Anybody want to speak to this or just vote?
I can speak very briefly, Mayor. The bids came in, as you see listed, the 1,377 bid, which actually came in at 2 something, and there was a mathematical error. Based on that and the increase in the price and the difference between the two, we feel it's most prudent to go out and rebid this project.
Okay, anyone have any questions on this? Okay, I'll offer that.
Offered by Mayor Hall, second by Mr. Park. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan? Yes. Mayor Hall?
Yes.
That brings us to resolution R 14-207.
Doug, you want to talk to this?
No.
Oh, I'll talk.
Sorry, 208.
Becky, you want to talk to
Yeah, this is actually putting a resolution on the books because the HPP is going to endorse the project down Miller Hill painting.
it? Okay,
I believe it's not completed at this time, and they're also going to take ownership of the bus shelter up on the highway.
clean it up, keep it that way.
Yeah, we'll have a timeline to Tim probably, by the spring, we'll roll everything out. But
Okay.
we'll probably have to kick off meeting after the Oktoberfest, and the HPP is going to work in conjunction with the Historical Society, because I believe they had, previously wanted to work on this
I'll do
project.
something on that.
So we're just gonna kind of sanction it, which is fine. And I did, talk to Carolyn also, the, DPW in the interim is just gonna paint the bus shelter just blue at this time, get rid of the graffiti and the white, and then we'll provide you with timelines and, obviously get council's input on the design and stuff like that.
Okay, if you haven't heard, the Oktoberfest got moved to Sunday for the rain days, if you haven't heard that already. Anybody have any questions on this at the table? Nope, okay, I'll offer it.
Offered by Mayor Hall,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Redmond. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Resolution R 14-210.
Tim, you want to speak to this briefly?
Yeah, Mayor, there's been monies returned to the County Alliance program, and we've had an opportunity to apply for additional funding, and we're an endorsement that we should try to apply for the funds. I think it's about $5,000, and there's in-kind costs. I think the total cost to both boroughs, Atlantic Highlands and Highland, as a joint program would be $687.50,
Okay,
contingent upon the receipt and approval from the county. And that will expand the program services.
anybody have any questions on the table? No? Okay, I'll offer that.
Offered by Mayor Hall,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Redmond. Mr. Park?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
On for introduction, setting of a public hearing date for October 22nd.
October 22nd is the second meeting in October, folks. It's actually the 4th Wednesday.
It is ordinance 0-14-27, ordinance authorizing the Borough of Highlands to amend section 7-3.4 of the Borough Code to prohibit parking on Portland Road at all times.
Okay, and we're just setting the public hearing, I'll offer that.
Could I just interject on this? The way that it's previously set, Chief and I have met, and we may want to do further investigation. There's a belief that there may be some additional parking that can be gathered safely on Portland Road, so I just want to bring that to your attention.
So you need more time?
I would recommend
That's
that
going to be
we,
until December.
I think at this point, it was brought up, I think, last meeting, and I think we're still in a good time frame. But I'm okay with December if you guys are okay. I just want to make sure we do it right, because I think this is too restrictive, the way it's set right now.
The first meeting.
November is November.
Accept the motion to carry till December.
Correct, for what we want to put a date on it now.
Everybody makes fun of my paper calendar.
December 3rd.
December, what is it?
3rd is the first.
3rd?
3rd is the second. 10. December 3rd is the first Wednesday.
December 3rd. I'll offer that.
Offered by Mayor Nolan,
I'll second that.
second by Ms. Ryan. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes.
On for introduction and setting of a public hearing date for October 27th, an ordinance authorizing the Borough Plans to amend Section 7-4 of the Borough Code to designate Valley Avenue as a one-way street in the direction of the northeast from Highland Ave to Route 36,
We're setting the public hearing date for
October 22nd.
22nd. Okay, I'll offer that.
Offered by Mayor Nolan,
I'll second it.
second by Ms. King. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes.
Finance Committee report.
Mr. Blazek, please.
Yes,
CFO.
hi, good evening. Couple points here. The borough's gonna hold an online tax sale. I pretty much said that last time I was here, and we mentioned that the resolution was approved by the governing body a couple of meetings ago. Since then, we sent an application down to the state. They approved it. So we set our tax sale date as November 24th. And following up on that, Mayor, we'd like to be processing tax payments online, tax and sewer payments online. We'd like to have a
We
goal
talked about
of
that.
having that in 2015. I'll present a separate report on that, what the cost is on that.
Pat, do you have a company that does that in,
Yes,
okay.
we have that. It's actually the same computer company that we're using now. The budget, we're meeting with the budget committee on a bi-weekly basis. It seems to be going pretty well. For 2015, we now have a user-friendly budget, which includes 7 more additional documents to the budget. So it's going to be a little bit more of a clearer presentation, that we make the presentation in March or April next year. And in 2014 budget, transfers are eligible to be made on November 1st, and we'll be doing that, I guess, at the next meeting. Bayview Condo Associations, they came in, I spoke with them, they want their 2014 agreement reviewed. That's something we'll discuss later. The state released a best practice checklist, so for the next meeting, that's a question, about 50 financial questions that the state requires that each town prepare. It's nothing new, it's something we did last year, and we have to have responses. We're going to need a resolution next year, next meeting, authorizing the submission of that. And that concludes the report.
Sir? Kevin, this is you, the chief, public safety. Public safety, you, the chief. It's outside the negotiation.
His report, I believe, is in the public.
It is, and we'll come back to that.
It's in the public package.
Move to administration, Mr. Hill?
Okay, Mayor, basically I'm gonna make this one as quickly as I can as well. Just wanna give you an update on the Borough Hall Community Center. I know a lot of folks continue to ask. Millennium Strategy's been helping us, further this objective along. And I just wanna put out numbers. On the additional project worksheets, the Borough Hall was estimated by FEMA at $102,000. Community Center was estimated at $57,000. On further review that has taken place like 6 months in between, Borough Hall now stands at $710,000, Community Center $209,000. With a secondary review, which Millennium has been helping us with, we're up to the Borough Hall at approximately $1.1 million, and the Community Center $485,813. With the report and replacement costs, estimate conservatively that the reimbursement, if we need to utilize that money for the Borough Hall, could go up as high as 1.7 at this point, and the Community Center close to 935. Those numbers keep escalating because FEMA gives you a formula and then they back off the formula and you have to go back and visit, discuss. So we continue to work on that. We are having additional testing done for radar underneath the facilities, and that'll give us an opportunity to find out if there are any voids created that we might not be aware of and we haven't seen visibly. So that enough time has passed, getting that done will give us the opportunity. If there are voids, those costs will escalate, unfortunately, to our benefit. So I'll keep you posted, but that's basically where we're at. That testing is to be done October 14th. It's been set up. There's only very few companies that provide that service. New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, they were in the week of September 22nd and 24th, conducting initial inspections for potential demolition of projects or homes. Again, I want to reiterate that the state will review and further discuss eligible projects once they make up the draft. We really don't have a part in that. This will not be a final list, and demolitions will only take place with the full cooperation and concurrence with property owners. So if the property owner we have on the list decides they don't want to be involved or cooperate with the DCA, DCA is not gonna fight and spend litigation monies, it'll just come off the list, and then we're gonna have to make other arrangements down the road. Department of Public Works, sanitation, garbage, recycling. We're having a lot of minor issues, but residents are reminded to place their items at the curb no later than 5 a.m. the day of your scheduled pickup. That's for any of those. Unfortunately, when the trucks do roll through, and we've seen it, and I've seen it, and I've verified, folks will say they had their garbage out, and the trucks have already been through town, and then at 10 o'clock they put their garbage out. And then they call us and they call the company, and we do have some pretty good accurate records of people are missing putting that out, and then they call us and say, oh, they missed us. So we want to work with the sanitation, no issues. Bulk pickup was completed September, next bulk pickup is December as per the collection zones. Look at the website, look at your zone. I apologize for any issues on that. Brush and leaf pickup will be the same October, November, and December, again, according to your zones on that first, second, third, or fourth Friday. Building and housing, I don't have a construction office report for this evening. Zoning had 23 approvals, one mercantile approval, and letters were sent out for determination. Floodplain had 15 approvals and 5 miscellaneous letters of substantial damage, further complaints, and flood zone inquiries. Code enforcement had 54 total inspections with 23 COs issued, 21 failed. Not of those 23, there was an additional 21 that failed, and 8 were passed upon reinspection. Unfortunately, one of our members of our property maintenance has been out due to surgery, and they are recovering, expected to be back shortly. Recreation Department, one of the highlights, we did get involved with the Seniors Farmer Market voucher program that the county offered. Unfortunately, the county didn't have the personnel to implement it, so they forgot to tell us that. Good, bad, or indifferent, we were able to hook up with another agency. Jen hooked up with them, was able to get the vouchers in. I think she serviced 42 seniors to get those vouchers. It's $20 that they can use at any farmer's market. It's a pretty good program. Upcoming events, men's basketball, Kids on the Move. Flu and pneumonia shots are being offered Thursday, October 9th down at PAC Towers. I want to make sure you're aware of that. If you're Medicare Part B insurance, no cost. If you're not, it's $28 for the flu shot, and pneumonia shots are $80 now. So pneumonia shots keep going up. High school teen nights are set for October, November, December, and January. Middle school teen nights are also set. They'll take place here at Highlands Elementary. Halloween costume contest and magic show, but it says pending confirmation. So I think they're going to do something with that, and I believe they're doing it at Henry Hudson this year, Sunday, October 26th, so that they'll be able to utilize the indoor facilities and not worry about rain or weather. Under administration, we continue to work with New Jersey Future on the SRPR, and the documentation is not in the DCA. It looks like that's going to be approved probably within the week, so we can start applying for the additional funds. We are working with various departments with minor repairs, clean up at the parks. We also received permission from Clean Communities program that I can reallocate some funds to enable us to have street sweeping done for the remainder of the year on a weekly basis on Bay Avenue. And the intent is to hit every other street in the borough at least one time within the next 2 months. We'd like to remind the contractors that we need to help us out a little bit with some of those issues. We are continuing to work with the Monmouth County Park System on the Battery Lewis Restoration Project. That's a gun from the USS New Jersey that's being installed up at the Monmouth County Park at Battery Lewis. It's going to be a very interesting project. There's only 2 roads in the town. We mentioned that last time, and we're following up with the engineering that the county needs to produce to us. Lastly, New Jersey American Water Project on Bay Street. It is moving along. They're replacing the main along Bay Street, bringing inconvenience to the residents, but they are continuing that project. They should be done by October 7th. And that's my report for this evening.
Thank you. Great.
Tim, I have a question. On Beach and Ocean Ave and Central Ave, why do the manholes have no bolts on for the water tightening? A lot of those manholes that they're boltable, and that's from the sewer, so that would allow water to go in there, and we have an I&I problem. I just want to understand why those manholes aren't being bolted down like they should be.
Is that
Yeah, it's a question, because a lot of those sewer, I mean, we're dealing with sewer I&I, water.
Okay, I'll address that offline. I'll have to look, I'm not familiar exactly what you're saying, that they're not bolted down the way they should be, so I'll have to go look at it. I'm not prepared to answer that question to you right now.
Yeah, they need to be bolted down. Okay, that's it.
We're gonna take a 10-minute break, everybody can stay here, we're gonna leave the room, so go into a quick executive session to discuss the matter, okay?
Just need a motion.
I'll offer that.
This is to discuss pending litigation, attorney-client communications regarding American Legion's ABC charges.
Second by Becky. All in favor? Aye.
If you wanna, Tim, be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be good. One ninety was gonna be pretty, 190 was gonna be not so good.
We want them pretty.
What? But this came on the way over the one.
That's the problem. What the problem is? Regular wires. That's inside.
Real gangbangers down there. Veterans, ex-chiefs, no hardcore. I'm a fireman, not. You remember? You bet? Yeah.
Retired long time, like Peter.
You look at the trail you have to your birds So, I mean, you don't have a lot of assumptions. You can't do it, okay. I would be kidding. And as soon as I was going, that she was banging. And when you get there, no, it was not. It was no. It was climb over a slippery rock and lower yourself into getting out. These things don't work that way. But we did it. No,
Invitation
we did. That's right.
give us any
We
idea.
did one. Everybody did everything. Just a way that wasn't related
But that's still
Oh, absolutely. No. I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. It was just a bit. But it was made.
Instead of 5x7, 35.
No, 5x7 went up. It was just, I mean, we had a outside valve that was probably 6 feet. 8 feet deep. And it faced the what? The sun.
You're sitting there with your julep in your hand watching the sun go down.
We,
And do you get the jets too?
huh?
Did they have the jets on TV
They had some put.
They really
But two through the side. And it was
It is downtown, so charming and walkable and that sort of stuff.
it's touristy. Yeah, Phyllis is upset. You know, and she's trying to. I mean, I think and it was.
Motion to go back in. Second by Becky.
Second by Ms. Kane, all in favor?
Bruce, you want to take us?
Sure, yeah, we put the terms on the record, we reached an amicable agreement with the American Legion, settled the pending disciplinary charges. We have here our prosecutor, Mr. Butler, the American Legion is represented by Mr. Granada from Mattawan. If you remember, this deals with, for the record, license number 1317-31-27-00. If you remember, there was a settlement, a signed settlement dated May 2nd, 2012, for a similar violation, having non-members present. We reached a very similar settlement. The agreement is that there will be a 40-day suspension held in abeyance for 1 year. Any violation of the ABC code or this agreement within that 1 year period would result in serving that 40-day suspension, plus the charge for whatever that violation was. But this settlement today does not constitute a guilty plea for progressive discipline purposes, for ABC purposes,
Or a violation.
or a violation. But however, the 2012 violation does constitute a violation. Basically, is that correct?
Are you okay with this, sir? And you're, okay. Butler? Okay. And it's the chief and the
We've also discussed this with the chief, and we'll prepare a formal stipulation of settlement similar to what we did in 2012 that will be adopted by resolution of council once signed by.
Do you need the council to vote for you on that or not?
You could take a vote to accept the term as placed on the record.
I'll offer to accept that as placed on the record.
Second by Mayor Nolan,
Second by Ms. Kane.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Ms. Kane,
Yes.
Ms. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes. Okay, we'll go back to committee reports. Library. Well, we'll take 5 minutes. Let everybody leave who's going to leave, okay? Go.
You don't want to give us the library?
We're doing the library, Nick. You sure you want to go? Okay. We're going to pick up where we left off. Committee reports, library.
Okay, well, obviously with the regular library, there's nothing to report until we have it built back. But with the little free library, most of you know that there is a little one outside of the coffee shop by Huddy
this Sunday, 2 to 8? 12 to 8.
Earlier.
Okay, shared services. Website committee, I'll move. Tara has something?
All right, well, all Tara's going to do is to introduce the committee. Al Pritchard, many of you know, and Jen Olson, who's sitting right in front of me. They've been working on the survey, they produced it, and they're going to talk about it, okay? Al's going to talk about it, right? So we have a your presentation. Very, very short. This is not the report, the full report, it's about the survey.
I think the important thing to really kind of key on is that we've been working on a survey for the website. We're putting it live today, so we'd like all the people in town to go out. The objective here is to kind of solicit the town to find out what the residents are looking for in a municipal website and how we can better provide that to them.
It's only,
Pretty
about 20 questions.
It's pretty short.
Yeah, the survey link's up there, please share it with everybody. We'd like to get as many people as possible to take it, that's where it's at. It'll be up for, say, 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll be putting up announcements on Facebook, Highlands Blog, it'll be on the webpage.
Yeah.
And anybody who wants to share it, share away.
So the objective will be to take the responses we get from the survey, to combine them with some investigations we've been doing to kind of other municipal sites, and that'll all get kind of compiled into what we feel is a listing of features that would be best serving the town, and then that turns into an RFP through After Services to see if we can get those implemented.
And the last question on here asks if you'd like to see some of the results via email, to give us your email address. We'll be back in touch. Results. That's it. This
is,
just wanted to make sure that was up there.
The very first part, okay, answering the survey, participating in the survey, you'll all be part of the report which we hope will have in November, early November. And that's really it, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other business, community center playground project update. Mr. Hill have revenues, right?
Yeah, we're still waiting on word from Snowflake Foundation as to whether or not the funds can be, they have to be used at the playground, but in terms of scaling back the scope of the project, they were committed to helping us. What we're hoping that they may come back with too is potentially understanding that we might need more funds. So once I get that ironed out, but the project itself still consists of the basketball court, tennis court, and the playground area as predetermined. And we'll try to get better cost estimates for that whole project.
And the new rooms and backboard, right?
Yeah, the new rims and backboards were installed today. Hopefully they'll last.
Yep.
Won't be vandalized in the
We
future.
gotta talk about lighting down here too, Tim? That's one of our issues. That'll be our next,
I've got to actually, one thing we have to do is get Jersey Central to reconnect. I'll make that.
Yeah, we'll go down there. Tara brought up a good point. I know in the past they had complaints. Island Pro Street had complaints about people with, lights. I wasn't able to. I'd rather put a light up there when the train is out.
But
We gotta get some time to
we can
think
get
about it.
JCP and help to at least put the parking lot lights back on.
Correct.
The light that was taken down, that was disconnected during the day.
Okay.
And a lot of the, just, now that the kids down there are kind of going on the other side of they're not going down the walkway to the beach. They're going in between the little parcel.
Yeah,
Yeah, between Central and the thing, and they're
Because it's open all the way down
So we should lock that gate, but it's locked.
at both
Yeah.
points to make sure it's not.
I mean,
Because
it
I'm sure
doesn't
there's
matter, it's
cops.
definitely a fence because they're hanging there and getting into trouble at all.
And I'm sure the fences have damaged some of the fences.
Some of the properties, Kevin just had mentioned that some of the properties there have not reinstalled fences either.
Correct.
So-
Right,
Tim, the player, that's in the snowflake grant? I'm saying that right? The
Yeah, the
snowflake?
playground,
Was there a minimum that we have to match to that to get the 90,000?
no, there was no match.
No match.
No, there was no match required by them, that was what they funded at the time.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
Right, those are criteria that we have to spend. North Street Pump Station project?
I put that on the table, because I just want to clarify the record, when we went to, T&M for clarification on this T4 rating. We can actually have diesel engines along the border, but the inspections on a yearly basis for those diesel engines for pumps is, estimated between $60,000 to $100,000. Okay, so yes, we can get diesel engines. They're cheaper. They're tier 4 rated, but we have to be prepared for the yearly base expense of inspections. I just wanted to have that for record because there's some comments made out there publicly that it's a TNM movement to go to electric engines. It's not. It's a state mandate. It's emissions too. It's emissions. So, and plus it's a new state.
Right.
Which is a benefit. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Veterans Park funding?
We can table that.
Okay. Getting to resilience report.
Mayor, I went to a Stockton station down to a getting resilience and New Jersey Future, also training program and Dr. Stowe. This was all part of the report that was out in June. I wasn't on council at the time, but I come to discover this is an effective roadmap to moving us in a forward direction. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you, the council, to read it. It's a little disappointing to see that there's only one stakeholder, being part, listed as part of the initial committee on this. I'm hoping the planning board steps up to the plate and reads this.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the document that we look at.
I was deeply disappointed with also some of the reactions from the key people down there about the embracing them to be part of the program, this community, and helping us get resilient. The woman from the Jockey Stowe Society, she's funded. She helped with this report.
Well, I'm asking who were you disappointed in?
Our governing body and the planning board, and the fact that we only had Dave Parker, who's the only stakeholder, on the list. Now, I know Tim Hill, Dale Lubner are valued employees to our community, and they're definitely stakeholders in our community. But from my understanding, all the other communities, when they presented this report, it was everybody and their mother that had any kind of input into the community was invited to this. So I just find it a very valuable report. If you have read it, then thank you. If you haven't read it, please do. I think it's a valuable tool. We need to move it forward. We need to start embracing the resources that are out there and start embracing them. I know this may be offensive to some people. We're not going to get it done ourselves. And our planning board needs all the help they can get. This is a great tool and a great organization on multiple levels. So that's why I asked them for it to be read, understood, and done with the planning board.
For the record, I just want to say Steve Nelson from New Jersey Future had set up the Jockey Stowe Foundation, and it wasn't a massive public, and I won't comment as to why or why not, but it was very condensed in questions that were directly asked. So I don't know that they did any outreach on their own to do anything more than what we were involved in. So I'll follow up with that and find out.
It was communicated to me that most of the towns that were affected by Sandy, when they had their presentation, everybody in the planning board, from everybody on the council to any town employees, it was an open door policy for everybody to come and participate in this. I know you did your diligence, you were there, you were listed in the report, Dave Parker. it's great that you guys are there, but we could have had more people there to listen to what they had to say. Maybe we could have grabbed some more information, some more roundtable. That's the whole point of it. Move us in the right direction. And I think we're missing opportunities. And just deeply disappointed.
I'm just saying the way it was set up, New Jersey Future set it up, and that was how it was set up. If they were having a public session, they never relayed that to us. So if other communities did it in different ways, I'll follow up with that.
And then I said, read it.
Cat license ordinance?
Yeah, Mayor, we're still working on a revision of the cat ordinance that was put in play. The SPCA has gotten back in touch with us, wanting to find out how we're going to change, because the ordinance is rewritten for their involvement, and they no longer can be involved at their level. So I don't have anything further to report, but we need to keep this going. Springtime's going to be here before we know it, but we do have to change the ordinance, because in effect, we can't enforce what we have on the books right now.
Okay. Recycling ordinance?
Similar recycling, garbage, and bulk. Since we changed and went to contracted services, some parts of our ordinance and what we have to be revised. I would like to find out if the governing body would have any interest in having a council member or whoever designated work with me directly to just really do a fine-tooth look over about what we have and any recommended changes. I know the Public Works guys have made some recommendations. And when you read the ordinance and then you call the borough law, you're getting two different answers. It's not that anyone's right or wrong, but things have changed since we went to contracted service and we haven't updated the ordinance accordingly. So I'll get back to you with a further report on that. Thanks.
Can we do that? Yep. Okay. Along meeting report?
This is my request. I know you, Mayor, and thank you, met with Mr. Long.
Basically, we presented what we thought were our issues with FEMA and how much money we had out there and the grants and applications. And then requested that Tim send documentation, which I believe you sent to Janice,
I
correct?
sent an email with our concerns basically on the flood mitigation grant from a couple of years ago. We really want to find out where we stand with that. We keep hearing we were second and third and fourth and fifth. We want a direct, concise answer whether we're still in the running for that particular grant or not. And we believe that your office will be able to assist us with that. Also ask them to look at flood and storm protection, stormwater management protection, if there's any funds that we're not aware of, anything coming about, to make sure that they help us secure funds that we know we're going to need. There were three other, the Army Corps project did come up. Again, there was no decisions made, but they were interested as to how that process was moving forward as well. They asked, point blank, what the time to feel, and I think it's too early to have any feeling other than they came out with a generalization of what they're going to do. We haven't seen the formal plan. The meeting went, I thought, very well, and we await their response.
I think we just basically gave them all our heartburn, told them, what we're feeling, why we're not, really need to see a little love and see some money coming in different areas. We even talked a little bit about the fact that facilities, where we are, and, really pushing some of that money through for the flood mitigation project is going to help us on the back end with facilities and decisions we have to make moving forward, because there's only so much in the kitty, and we want to make sure however we parse it out, it's going to, we're not underwater after doing it. So really, he's going to be a big key player and hopefully be an advocate for getting this grant funded.
Do you offer any kind of something that we can use in the program, or just you guys do anything on our behalf? Do you offer anything in return? Out of the box, like something new, a checkbook, a credit card?
Only $5 million, that was reassuring, only $5 million. So our flood project's not as big as what everybody else is asking
Some of the
for.
smaller scale ones it is.
He says, oh, $5 million.
Why are we talking about that?
Did he commit to anything at the table?
No,
Yeah.
one of them documentation.
He wanted to know where we were with what, with everything. And then, Tim will have that open line of communication.
I'll see you Friday night, we'll follow up. Okay, that's it there, public motion, I believe. Wait, Ms. Ryan,
Okay.
anything
gonna be new guidelines on REM coming out on Monday, I found out today. And, it's just so confusing for everyone, so if you have anyone who has some questions, I'm not saying we're gonna have all the answers, but we will try. The Sandy attorney in my office will be running it, and I'll be there also. Okay? Community Health Law Project at the Affordable Housing Alliance in Atlantic Highlands. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol Bucko, name and address for the record.
Built a very large building right next to our
Can't hear you, Carol, sorry.
on Shore Drive, our D building is on the left side. And they put pilings in for about a week. And all of a sudden, the house appeared. And I went to Dale, and I asked him about the setbacks, because it apparently never went to the zoning board, never went to the planning board, because I was reading minutes all night last night, and I didn't see anything, and then this thing. I went to Dale, I asked him about it, he said he didn't have the final information on it. The house is up. The house is up. It's a modular house. They put the sticks in the pillar's post, what do you call them? And they put those in, and then they delivered the house and put it on top of that. And the house, I think they're supposed to have a 20-foot setback from farm property. And that's a very bad side of the road, because on that side of the road, we have all the streams coming down, and they have endangered our building over there, by putting such a large structure there. And I think it might be higher than the allowable height of the building, not because of the posts, or what do you call it?
Pylons.
Yeah, but not because of that. Disregarding them, it looks a lot higher than 39, 40 feet. And so, anyway, I just wondered why they didn't have to go before the zoning or planning. In addition to that, I think it is over, or very close to a sewer line.
Tim's gonna have to look at that, I don't know.
I'll have to follow up with the zoning planning, I don't know the answer to that question. The sewer, though, as we understand, was mismarked on the maps. And when they actually did take the vices out of the tracked out line, it wasn't where they were told it was by many in their neighborhood. So I believe the sewer issue is not an issue anymore. I think they're like 20 foot outside of that. But the other, I'll have to get back to them, because I'm not certain why the decision by the zoning officer would circumvent either board if it needed to go there.
Because I remember that borough employees were clearing out that property about a year or two ago, or maybe before the storm, maybe it was even before the storm. That whole business just is work. But they were clearing out that property, and I asked them what they were clearing it out for, and they said it's a landlocked piece of property that belongs to the borough.
Now, there's one parcel up closer to Shore Drive. We have a narrow piece of property that runs behind, and I forget the house number. There is a lot that we have to go in, but not on the other side of where that house is being built. There's a very narrow tract of land right behind, close to where George lives, in that neighborhood, and I don't want to say.
So we're gonna follow up and get back to you.
I'll follow up with
I
you
just
guys
want to
directly.
check, because I don't think it follows any of our ordinances, and I don't think it was before the planning board or the zoning board.
Tim's gonna check and get back to you.
It would have to have been either a long time ago or just a week or two ago.
Okay, I'll follow up directly.
Thank you. Kim Swoker?
Kim Scorpio, 315 Shore Drive. I want to talk about the peddler's license and the noise ordinance.
Okay.
First off, I keep hearing that Jillian, who owns the Penelope truck, is getting grief from someone in town. I don't know if they're an official. I
You
don't know
keep
if
hearing, I'm sorry?
she's getting grief about having a truck.
She had a conversation with you?
Yes,
Okay.
because I shopped there.
Did you?
I hate hearing this from her. We are in a town, we're in a desperate situation, and we need any sort of business and activity we can get. I I understand people are upset that she's not in the storefront, and she's not permanent, and she's not paying rent to our landlords. Give her time. Let this truck be here. Let it be successful, and maybe someday she will move in. She loves this town. She promotes this town, and she does bring people here. Not a whole lot, but she brings people here to shop in her truck.
I think we agree on
So,
the table.
again, I don't think it's anybody on council, but I just
Well, she told you who it is. Who is it?
I don't know. She didn't tell me who it was.
Okay.
But she's getting phone calls, and all she does is promote this town and bring people in. And I think we should be more welcoming. And I know you're still discussing peddler's license in executive session. I'd like to know if we can limit the pocketing of the licenses, like we do the liquor laws, where you have a certain amount of time where you need to put it into action.
We talked about that. That's one of the discussions.
Okay. And also with the noise ordinance, I worked a long day. I went to a wake. I came home at 9:30 on Thursday night, and the karaoke was way too loud. I shouldn't have to call the police first and foremost. Everybody knows it's 8 o'clock cutoff. Second of all, I'm tired of waiting for the council to act on the noise ordinance. The State Noise Control Act has a model act, and it has decibel levels. Enact it. Put the hours the same we have now, 8 o'clock Sunday through Thursday, 10 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and get the decibel meters in town. I can't call the county to just come in and drop off a hat. I have to arrange it. Sometimes the weather doesn't look too good, she can't come out, weather changes. We need these decibel meters in town, and I need this council to act on it now. I'm tired of waiting. It's been more than 6 months. I've been dealing with this for years. I'm done with this. Move on it, and if you have to tweak it later. But get these decibel level meters in this town immediately.
We don't even know if that's the route we're going, Kim, what we are talking about.
You either enforce decibel levels or you don't. And in order to be
We've had that before.
right, and in order to be in compliance with the State Noise Control Act, it's got to be decibel levels.
Okay.
Thank you.
Carolyn, we're on?
Right. Carolyn Brouillon, 12 Miller Street. I want to know if, I've been in very, very loose talks with an independent chain about coming to town. And I want to know if this person, do they need to go to the council? Do they need to go to HBP? Who would this person go to in order to talk about putting a brick and mortar here in town?
I would start the conversations with Mr. Hill, to be honest with you. He'll direct them to what board, if anything, or group.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks.
I can't read the name, I'm sorry. 17 Marine Place. Everyone will focus it up. 115 Oakland Ave. No? Matt Boylan? Barb Boylan? Kristen Fennell? Sean Donahoe? I'm sorry, I can't even read some of these. Robert Stewart?
This will be fast.
Oh, Robin Daffy's gone.
Don? Glenn Collins? Barbara Iannucci?
Barbara Iannucci, 28 Shrewsbury Avenue. I want to elaborate on the Jacques Cousteau study that Councilman Carr brought to your attention. I became aware of it from going to Blue Star Launch, which is a collaborated effort of Clean Ocean Action, Sustainable Jersey, and also Jacques Cousteau, and Anjec was involved because of stormwater management. And it's a new program they're doing where they're collaborating all of these nonprofits and agencies so that you can get your CRS credits linked, you can get your Sustainable Jersey credits linked. And that is where we found out about the Jacques Cousteau report, which was a requirement for Steve Nelson to be able to even create the SRPR report, which was step one. So it did serve Steve Nelson very well. They have risk assessment tools, they dealt with sea level rise, they dealt with flood mitigation, flood risks, hazardous areas. So all this was part of Steve's report that created the recommendations that are now in the master plan process. My concern really is there's well over 20 recommendations, very immediate actions that Highlands can take, as Councilman Card said, like a roadmap, that will allow us to start getting these points in Sustainable Jersey and in the CRS program. And by not having this report given to other staff members of departments or committees, you're missing out on a collaborated effort where we can get a few steps done while Steve is getting this master plan together. For example, there were many opportunities you have a web committee. There are so many recommendations here for an outreach program, putting flood maps, links, a whole bunch of information for the public for flood disasters on our website would then give us CRS points. I did have a brief talk with Carla. She said many years ago we registered for Sustainable Jersey. It was under Anna Little and Bruce Hillings contact. I checked their database. We are registered, but we have not submitted one project that could give us points. So I guess what I'm asking is, can you hand this over to the EC committee, your Environmental Commission, and let us maybe...
It's on a website, it's not secret.
What do you mean?
This is posted somewhere, that's where I got it from in July or August.
No, I'm saying, we can all read it. I want somebody to implement it.
Okay.
Can you hand over the implementation to the Environmental Commission so that we can maybe start
Well, they can advise back to the
coordinating these
council, of
efforts?
course.
Because the SRPR report, you get points for that.
Understand?
No one communicated anything to any other person in the borough to maybe go and get points from Sustainable Jersey or on the CRS program, so that eventually we can get higher discounts in our flood rates.
Okay.
You know, so step 2, 3, and 4 have to happen, and I know they're not a priority to the master plan, but they're going to benefit Highlands in the long run. So
Sure.
can the Environmental Commission take over that
They
kind
can
of
take it and advise
collaboration?
the council.
Pardon me?
They can take it and advise back to the council.
Yes.
Steps to take, of
Oh,
course,
yes.
yeah.
Well, I wanted you to hear it first before I went
No, I appreciate that,
bringing
yeah,
it
absolutely,
to the
please.
Environmental
Sure.
Commission and saying, we now have, it's either this or stymies, quite honestly.
What's
I'd
that?
rather work on this.
Hang on, what's up?
Carla was involved with Sustainable Jersey.
Yes.
When it was originally created.
Okay, so then obviously, well, whatever
Oh,
recommendations
I've
you
worked
have,
with Carla too.
we'll pass it
She
on to
has
the
a
bidders.
plate
I just wanted to say that at the time, I think we entered about 60 points worth of, and I think you may have gotten it wrong later on. So you need 100 points to get your certification. So I don't know that we still don't have 60 points, and this needs to be updated.
Sure.
And, maybe between this, the SRP and a few other things, we may be able to
Oh, and we have a
scrounge
lot
up,
more.
you know,
As a
maybe
matter of fact,
100 points down that we didn't have then.
there's like 6 pages on the back of this Jacques Cousteau report showing where we have pretty much achieved points. We just haven't done anything to have them accounted for.
You just have to be entered.
I understand.
Yeah, so the Environmental Commission is willing to help you with that, or at least I am. And I did have a question also, the Snowflake Foundation. The last ordinance that was tabled, we had 90,000 going towards the bond, 90,000 was from that grant, from what I recall.
Which ordinance that was tabled?
The one for
At the
your-
last meeting.
Yeah, for the,
It was because the cost estimates for the overall project came in higher. That's why they tabled doing that project.
yes, but what caught my eye was, I went over the budget, when there was so much budget talk going on. We had 135,000 from the Snowflake grant, and then that was also in the Highland Star.
There was monies allocated through that grant to do part of the community center interior floor.
So it was
So the-
allocated elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
They put restrictions on what you can spend it.
so it just doesn't have to be on playgrounds then?
No, the 90,000, yes it does. The
But maybe
90,000 was
that's-
done by resolution. When that grant was applied for, 90,000 was for the playground. They wanted active space that was gonna be used by the children.
Yes, youth-centric projects.
Okay, so that's where the 90 was. 30, 35, they agreed to do the interior flooring, believe it or not, of the community center to make it more usable, not a slab over concrete. They were enabling us to put a cushioning type surface that could be more multi-purpose. So those were the two things that were applied for and agreed to by Snowflake before we did the resolution.
Okay. That was all.
Okay.
All in favor?
Remember, folks, we're on the 22nd, not 2 weeks.